Hey everybody, this is David Skarika. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day, and it's a great April Fool's Day. I'm not being fooled. So as you know, I was quite aggressively um I'm just laughing at the pre-market hit. I didn't even because last time I checked it was 110, now it's 130. I was quite aggressively, promoting Newsmax and this is why. And look at this is obviously a crazy IPO, and there's going to be a big pullback at some point. I think we can all agree on that. But the thing about it is, and I still need to get the stock. I think one reason it is going so crazy. I was reading some of these message boards, on the conversations here, and it seems what's going on is a lot of people can't get the stock into their account. You go, I'm trying to do that right now. So there's not that much stock out there, and I think that's one reason the stock maybe have gone up so crazy. But part of the reason I was so bullish on it is like I just did some basic comparisons, right? Like I talked about Rumble, because Newsmax now, like you see, has a $10 billion market cap, right? Now they have about 200 million. They're gonna have like 200 million in revenues this year. So obviously it's very pricey, but because Rumble, for example, you can see had about and a little while ago, Rumble was up to about $4 billion market cap, but it had say $2.5 billion market cap. And the Trump social thing, and I know that Trump social thing is, like a meme stock, but he sees a $4.3 billion market cap. So I'm like, those two companies combined, Rumble and Trump Social, don't even have 100 million in revenues. And I'm like, if they can be worth about 7 billion combined, why can't Newsmax be worth that? Right. And it's a real company and it's a growing company. So, and the legacy media, as we all know, is kind of dead. So regardless, I know some people may not like Newsmax because they'll say like, they're too right wing, or they're too pro Trump or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, after the years, of like promoting stuff like the Russia, it was a hoax. And I'm not saying this as a conservative pundit. Like there's been proven there's really no like kind of inside relationship with Trump and Russia. It's nonsense, right? And those kind of things and pushing those narratives and the whatnot, and then also like what happened over COVID and really pushing all the vaccines and everything on us. No one really trusts legacy media anymore, right? So that's where kind of Newsmax came in, and there is this void. A lot of people feel that Fox, for example, is not conservative enough, believe it or not. So those types of people maybe watch Newsmax now. So there was all this opportunity there. Of course, remember Newsmax also has an opportunity, forget the stock, but as a business to expand. Okay, because look at Fox, Disney, all these big media companies, right? They all own no, sorry, own. They all, they have other aspects like, Disney owns ESPN, right? Fox has Fox Sports, all these kinds of things. Like they have other aspects of their business. So Newsmax is just a cable news network right now. So they can get into, like Fox Business. They can get into a business channel. They can expand into sports. They can do all kinds of things. And now with the stock at a $10 billion valuation, they have raised 300 million, but they could probably raise another billion in the market, maybe a convertible, maybe a bought deal very easily. And there's all kinds of cheap companies out there they can maybe buy and use their stock, as currency. So there is a lot of opportunities in the business. Like again, with the stock doing what it did, and I'm hoping that I can sell, here in the coming, days and weeks, or coming days, or today, hopefully it gets into my account. With that occurring, but but hopefully I can get out of it. Sorry, I get a little flabbergasted seeing the thing where it is. So yeah, hopefully I can get out some of this. And I know some of you did it, and congratulations to some of you who did do it. And I hope you're happy. And I hope you become a lifetime subscriber, with a little bit of your profits. I think this one trade of Aurora was worth it. And, that's kind of why I've also changed the ad, like the way I do the newsletter now, because you don't get opportunities like this all the time. And the problem when you write a monthly newsletter is people want something like this. Like, maybe this is extreme. Like they don't expect to make 13 times on their money every 3 months, but it's like they want ideas, ideas, ideas. And to me, it's like you're going to get something like this. Look, I've had 2 or 3 deals do this in my whole lifetime. I've been doing financial markets for almost 30 years now, because I started very young. And it's like, yeah, you get 3 deals, say, like that were really like this, maybe 4 that kind of changed the way I could live or whatever. And it's like you got four deals like this, and it's like, that's what, once every like 6, 7, 8 years, you get something like this. So anyhow, yeah, yeah, anyhow, so and another reason that I wasn't too worried about the recent market correction really hitting Newsmax is, first of all, again, it's this pro retail, anti legacy media. Remember another thing too with the stock with Newsmax. Newsmax is different from these other IPOs in that it's a cable news company. So they have millions of viewers, they have millions of subscribers, they have millions of fans, right? So those fans, those viewers are going to be watching, what the stock is doing, you know. Anyhow, you're sort of going to be buying it. So like little retail investors were probably buying it yesterday. I watched it, and that's one reason I didn't put an update yesterday. I was just kind of watching the stock all day. It was incredible to watch. It would just get halted and then go limit up again and get halted again and go limit up again and get halted again. It was insane. I never seen anything like it. It was like, it reminded me of the .com days. So anyhow, and look, we've had a lot of IPOs do well, especially AI and whatever tech, but I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. So anyhow, one reason again, and there's market valuations. Remember, even with the market's current decline, you can see market cap to GDP is 188%. Outside of a few months and kind of like, from the late, 19 or late 2021 into early 2022, like the market cap to GDP has never been that high. You can see it hit the peak there in July or August of 2021. It hit 199, and you can see, let's see this 180. Yeah, so basically it was like from about March to about the end of 2021. So the 8-9 month period. So other than that 8 to 9 month period, we still have never been this high in market cap to GDP. So the valuations are still stretched. So like, that enthusiasm, that frothiness is still there, right? It's not like it disappeared because the market had a little 10% correction. So anyhow, so this is the Newsmax thing here. So yeah, anyhow, so I'm pretty happy about it. Like I said, I have this in my trading portfolio. So for those of you who don't know, for my member section, I have a small little trading portfolio where I set up a $30,000, like kind of, I don't want to say fake, but like, imaginary $30,000 portfolio and an imaginary $5,000 portfolio. And basically what I did is it's a microcosm some of the trades I make. Like for example, Newsmax, I'm into full disclosure. I'll tell you, I put $38,000 into it. Okay. In these little portfolios, I put 5,000 each into each portfolio. So what I'm trying to do with these portfolios is just do these trades. I've had winning trades. I kind of got killed on a call option trade on a 3D printing stock, but I did really well on Fubo. So you have winning trades, losing trades, and it's a mixture of those trades, these pre-IPOs, et cetera, et cetera. Like in one of the portfolios, I got a mining pre-IPO that I was in years ago. So anyhow, so I guess, and by the way, for those who are interested, like this is the Newsmax IR, website, which talks about, this is not talking about more about the company, and there's filings are there, et cetera, et cetera. And like, you gotta understand too, like, it's not a flash in the pan. Like, okay, you can say it's an expensive stock, but Chris Ruddy created this thing in 1998. He thought at the time, because the internet was taking off, there wasn't enough conservative news websites. So it was initially, actually, ironically, we come full circle, a way to play the .com bubble. And ironically, one of the things that really pushed the company up from, say, a $30-40 million revenue company to like 170, 180 million, almost 200 million, was them going back to legacy media in terms of them going and, getting on Comcast, getting on DirecTV, et cetera. So that's kind of ironic, isn't it? Right. So yeah. And again, here's the website, by the way. It's coming along pretty good. You can see my recent updates. I've got our member section. So for those of you who are members, you should have gotten you can sign into the member section here, and you can see this is looking pretty good. My friend Alan did this. I think the site looks fucking, excuse my language, looks amazing. Yeah, and then right now I've got a Patreon where you can do the basic service. I'm going to sign up the billing this month, because we're really going to get going this starting in May, because my book is out April 22nd. There's a link here, by the way, if you want to pre-order my book. Maybe one day, if some of you come to vacation in the Bahamas, bring it with you and I'll sign it for you. So, okay. So anyhow, I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. So, I really want to get this Newsmax into my account. So anyhow, just wanted to show you that Newsmax, and again, like I said, it was a thought process. I remember I've worked for them for 16, 17 years too, and I've known Chris Ruddy. They've made me a lot of money. Hey, you know what? I feel that I'm part of what's happening too, because I've made that company a lot of money because we had a gold letter that did very well like 12, 13 years ago, and we made a lot of money. Like, like it sold a lot of subscriptions. So I've made the company probably, seven, not this year, but like in the past, some years I've probably generated over seven figures and revenue for them just myself, right? So anyhow, everybody take care, and we're gonna see what we can do here, and yeah, Newsmax, unbelievable. So yeah, I guess again, I don't really know from here what we do, but just to be part of something like this, in investing, you always try not to get too high or too low, but it's hard not to get excited or happy when something like this occurs. Okay, bye.